Welcome back to Gentle Herb Living. If you've been gardening for a while, you already know the old saying, feed the soil and the soil will feed you. Today, I want to open up the heart of my garden and share exactly how I build the rich, living soil that my vegetables thrive in. This isn't just theory. I'm going to show you the step-by-step recipes I use in my raised beds and planting areas. These blends are simple, affordable, and proven to create loose, fertile soil that grows stronger every single season. By the end, you'll have a recipe you can follow at home and adapt to your own garden. Start with the foundation, a 40-40-20 mix. The base of my recipe is simple: 40% compost, 40% topsoil, and 20% aeration material. Here's how I put it together. In a wheelbarrow or tarp, I start by measuring 4 buckets of compost. This can be homemade compost, aged manure, or a mix of both. The more variety in the compost, the better, because different ingredients give different nutrients. Next, I add 4 buckets of clean topsoil. If you're filling raised beds, you can buy screened topsoil or dig from an untreated area of your property. Finally, I add 2 buckets of aeration material. This can be perlite, coarse sand, or even rice hulls. This step makes sure the soil doesn't get waterlogged and roots can breathe. I spread these layers on the tarp and mix thoroughly until it looks even. This 40-40-20 blend is my base recipe. It's loose, fertile, and ready to plant in. Once I have the base ready, I always enrich it with worm castings. For every wheelbarrow of soil mix, I add about 1 shovel of castings. This doesn't sound like much, but worm castings are powerful. They contain beneficial microbes that boost soil life and nutrients that are immediately available to plants. I work the castings into the top 6 inches of soil where roots will quickly find them. Short-term nutrients are important, but I also like to build in long-term fertility. Here's my mineral recipe per wheelbarrow load. 1 cup of rock dust, either basalt or glacial, for trace minerals, half a cup of crushed eggshells for calcium, and half a cup of bone meal for phosphorus. I sprinkle these evenly over the soil mix and stir them in well. These amendments don't break down overnight. They release slowly, feeding plants over months and even years. This ensures my soil improves each season rather than running out of nutrients. Good soil needs to hold moisture without drowning roots. That's where coco coir comes in. For every wheelbarrow of mix, I add 1 to 2 buckets of hydrated coco coir. I soak the dry coir in a tub of water first so it fluffs up, then fold it into the soil. This ingredient keeps beds from drying out too quickly in summer heat while still draining properly. When I'm filling a new raised bed, I don't just dump everything in, I like to build in layers for the best results. At the bottom, I place a layer of sticks, branches, or coarse mulch. This improves drainage, and over time, slowly breaks down into organic matter. Next comes a layer of rough compost or aged manure. This will continue breaking down and releasing nutrients over time. Finally, I top the bed with my finished soil mix, the 40-40-20 blend with worm castings, minerals, and coco coir worked in. This layering method creates a living sponge that holds moisture, feeds roots, and keeps soil biology thriving. Even the best soil needs refreshing. At the start of each spring, I spread a 2-inch layer of fresh compost on top of my beds and lightly fork it in. If I notice calcium-hungry crops like tomatoes or peppers are planned for that bed, I'll sprinkle in extra crushed eggshells or bone meal. And every fall, I like to sow a quick cover crop, like clover or rye, that I cut and turn into the soil before winter. This keeps nutrients cycling and improves texture year after year. So there you have it, my go-to soil recipe: 40% compost, 40% topsoil, 20% aeration material, plus worm castings, coco coir, and slow-release minerals. Built in layers, refreshed each season, and always improving. This approach has given me stronger tomatoes, tastier beans and peppers that never seem to quit producing. Now I want to hear from you. What's your best homemade soil recipe? Share it in the comments so we can all learn together. And if you found this guide useful, subscribe to Gentle Herb Living for more natural gardening tips and proven recipes straight from the soil up. Let's keep building living soil and growing food the way nature intended.